everyone, this is Musi reporting in, and I recently saw a Are You Sexist? Take This quiz on PBS. Now, before I get too into this, um, I'll just put the article here so you can read through it real quick if you want. But how do I say this? I used to really like PBS. I'm the generation that watched PBS. Um, I hate to sound like I'm the generation that watched PBS when it was good, or I'm the generation that watched MTV when it was good. But unfortunately, I feel like this is a really blatant ripoff, or not even a blatant ripoff. That might not be the right usage of words, but more of a big giant straw man is what people have been calling it, as a big giant straw man, as it assumes certain things and it kind of doesn't give you enough information, which when it comes to any kind of quiz, whether it be on Facebook or here or anywhere else, it's never enough information. It's never enough. They give you a really simple basic question and then they never, thoroughly go through the rest of the ropes to make sure this is what exactly we're answering or asking. We want you to answer it. And it's annoying. It really is. Like, it's royally annoying. Not to say that a good quiz can't be made, but in these cases especially, it is really, really hard to really play that game of quizzes. And here's the thing, I'm gonna take this quiz and we're gonna run some tests. I already took it the first time around, as soon as we get the new results, we'll say here. But I'm gonna run some tests because I want to see. First, I will answer honestly. I will try to be as close as I can from the original answers I gave. And we'll go through. There's 17 questions. This is the first one. There are a couple of personal questions I'll ask, and I'm not going to say which one is which is mine, but we're just going to run through them and see if it makes a difference or not. So, we're going to go with the first question. Many women have a quality of purity that few men possess. Here's my first problem, okay, with the sexist quiz. Because it automatically assumes your gender defines all these things. Women have this and men don't. That's the first problem I have with this quiz. I believe I said I slightly disagreed because, like I said, gender should not decide that in the first place. It's like dogs have loyalty. All dogs, dogs smell, and they are very loyal. And to assume that, it's kind of weird. I've actually met a few dogs that are not smelly. And again, these are quizzes that make very huge assumptions and judgment calls. So, also, the choices that you have is disagree strongly, disagree somewhat, disagree slightly, agree somewhat, and agree strongly. There's no in between. You either are a little bit over the middle or a little under the middle. You can't be doesn't matter. Or you can't be in the middle. It's just right on the edges where there's this blank slate that you can't touch either way. And it's really annoying. Women should be cherished and protected by men. God, my brain hurts. In a marriage, or a woman should be able to defend her man. Why is this? I'm gonna. I can't remember. I think I said disagree strongly. I think because it shouldn't really matter either way. I mean, people should be able to protect everyone else, but at the same time, we should cherish women. We should cherish them. And it's like, I didn't know having a vagina was something special. Women seek to gain power by getting control over men. I have seen this. I have truly seen it. So I think I said I agree slightly because it's on a case-by-case basis. Because here's the problem. It assumes all. Like, there's no in between. Like, this is such a strongly vague quiz already. And you're already in that, excuse me, already in that vague portion of the quiz where you're just like, ah, God, that, Anyway, every man ought to have a woman whom he adores. No. I think I said disagree slightly or disagree somewhat. Um, no, he doesn't have to. I mean, no different than every woman should have a man. You know, not. I mean, I guess everyone talks about. I believe. There's some people. Some of my friends believe that every person has someone, their significant other, or a person that is their one true love, if you will, or everybody has that other half. I believe that, but I also feel that not everyone needs their other half. It's like everyone always has a match. Everyone in this world does. There's 7 billion of us. To think that there isn't a possibility of that ever occurring is weird. But um it's one of those things where it's like I also feel that it's not necessary. Like, if you want to live single for the rest of your life, that should be fine. So to say that every man ought to have a woman who he adores doesn't make sense. But that also applies to the other half. And I have a theory on this as well, because I know that it will be counted towards um, my side of if I strongly disagree. And that's going to be the question I want to see. We're going to go through these again. We'll see what happens. I'm going to strongly somewhat disagree. Strongly somewhat disagree. I'm going to somewhat disagree. Men are incomplete without women. I strongly disagree. Women exaggerate problems they have at work. I can agree to that a little bit. I do feel that there are times of that, but I mean, again, you're also talking about women as in a whole, like all men and all women. Like, it doesn't make sense. There's no individual context there. I feel like I can agree slightly to that because, let's face it, there's a reason why a lot of my friends are male. There really is. I've gained a lot of female friends over the years. Let's get that straight. But most of the people I hang out on a regular basis with are males. And they don't care. That's because they don't care. I can say whatever the hell I want. I can curse out the storm. I can say the most sexist shit in the world, even against myself or them, and we all just laugh. But if I were to do that with a group of women, and this is just based on stereotype, this is based on just an assumption, which is kind of what this quiz is a basic, big, fat assumption, of the rest of the girls I have met, they would not take that lightly. Don't know if they just don't have a sense of humor or they just can't get over themselves. Once a woman gets a man to commit to her, she usually tries to put him on a tight leash. Again, this is just like the previous one. I see it at times, and I'm not even including the BDSM crap when it comes to a tight leash, but I see it. It's not a fair question because it's possible. Do all women do it? No. But there's also this doesn't fucking matter. Like, none of these questions matter. None of them do. And yet, this is what I'm getting. So I'm going to slightly disagree because of the fact that it happens. And it happens on both ends, too. So it's, again, not a fair question. When women lose to men in a fair competition, they typically complain about being discriminated against. I agree a little. First off, we have to understand the question of fair, because there's a big difference between fair and equal. Let's be honest here. Fair and equal, okay, are two totally different things. If, for example, the whole draft thing's been going on, I'm still on the ball or border whether or not I think a draft is a good idea. Some will say yes, some will say no. But if we are going to have a draft, I do feel it's fair you need to have women included. If you're going to allow women in the field, you've got to allow them to be in the draft. That's just fair, unless they're pregnant, unless and if it applies to women, this should apply to men too. Um, unless a baby was born within 6 months. So that would apply to not only the mother but the father as well. Um, or something along those lines so that kids are not sufficed of it. And then I'm not sure how the income works for those who go out to war because I've never had really close family members or even friends that have gone to war. Um, so I don't know how that works. Um, but yeah, I do feel there's a little bit of this, they feel that they're discriminated against. Because on the one hand, everyone's like, we want to be equal. So let's take the Olympics, for example, and let's take runners. We could have an all for all runners event where everyone comes together, male and female, doesn't matter handicap or not, come together, one big giant race, and race. And then the women would say, that's not fair, we want our own. And then they get separated. Segregate, forced word here, forced kind of thought there. And next thing you know, they're like, well, we should be able to compete with the boys. We're just as good. Can you please make up your mind? I'm going on a tangent there, but I do feel there are women who are just cannot make up their minds on that discrimination. It's fair, but now you're not saying it's fair. And when it is fair, you're complaining that it's not fair, and it's annoying. Many women get a kick out of teasing men by being sexually available and then refusing male advances. um, that one's really weird. Because I know some people just want to be sexually available. Simply be not they're not by seeming sexually available. First off, hi. Never had sex in my life, and nor do I care. I don't have the body for it. I really don't. And even if I did, I wouldn't do that anyways. I don't dress provocatively in any way, shape, or form. I just don't. I have one short skirt, and that is only for if the day ever comes, special reasons. But many women get a kick out of teasing men by seemingly sexually available and then refusing male advances. I don't know if they get a kick out of it. It's a teasing tactic. It is teasing. Out of teasing men by seeming sexually available and then refusing male advances. God, like, I can't justify that happens enough to say all women do it. Like, I can't see that. Then again, I mean, I can't see all of the world at once, which is a big thing. Like, we can't see all of the world at once. We come pretty close with the internet, or at least you feel like it half the time. But do I slightly agree or slightly disagree is the question. Because I only slightly agree, or slightly. So I think, agree? Slightly. That there's a small percentage that do. And don't get me wrong, I've had a couple of boyfriends and I teased them. And they told me yay or nay, and if they liked it, yay, if not. But that's under already dating perceptions. This isn't like strangers. So I'm going to say slightly agree. Women compared to men tend to have superior moral sensibility. No. No. Men or female. Male or female does not decide that. But watch, I'll be punished for that. Men should be willing to sacrifice their own well-being in order to provide financially for the women in their lives. Family and friends, just like any woman should to her guy, family and friends. Though that would become interesting to fight. No, I want to be the hero, says the wife. No, I want to be the hero, says the husband. I'm gonna somewhat disagree on that. I think that's what I said. Feminists are making unreasonable demands of men. Yeah, I can somewhat agree with that. Excuse me. There we go. I can somewhat agree to that. I actually can. That feminists do make very, at least interesting, very interesting, demands. Get this hate speech off our campus. Triggly Puff exists for a reason. Now, mind you, that also is feminazis, but even feminists in general, unless they can factually back it up, like factual feminists, then I usually don't care because you're backing it up. But if you just say my feelings, that's not gonna help. Sorry. But I do somewhat feel that feminists make really weird accusations or demands of men. Like, I've seen really weird ones. I think I just read an article. Somebody on a Facebook group posted a article about how it was a guy posting about his wife who goes out and has relations with other guys willingly, and they both agreed to it. And he's like, our relationship is great, and I don't judge her for not going out and having relations with other guys. And he mentions something, and it's great because he's a feminist. Holy crap! My ears and eyes. My ears were hurting, and I was crying. Okay, I wasn't really crying, but still. What is your gender identity? I'm a female. I am 18 to 34. I do live in the U.S. And I am not going to put my state. I'm going to cut that. And now we'll resume. Your highest level of education you have attained so far is some college 2-year degree. I'm working on my bachelor's, but we'll see how that goes. And your household income. I'm not going to answer this because I don't feel it's anybody's business. And I am so sexist. Look at that. I actually got higher this time. I was a 2 last time, and now I'm a 3. But you know what? I'm not really that benevolent of a sexist. Not really. I'm just hostilely sexist, apparently. I'm just sexist all around, aren't I? This is so dumb. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna retake the quiz. We're gonna start over, and I'm gonna see which ones it wants me to say this time. And I'm going to see which ones make me this horrible sexist. So many women have a quality purely a few men possess. I'm going to say agree strongly. Women should be cherished and protected. I'm going to say agree strongly. Women seek to gain power by gaining control over men. Ooh, do I say agree strongly? Or do I say disagree? I'm going to say disagree strongly this time. Every man ought to have a woman every man ought to have a woman whom he adores. I'm going to disagree. Men are incomplete without women. I'm going to agree. Women exaggerate problems they have at work. I'm going to disagree. Once a woman gets a man to commit to her, she usually tries to put him on a tight leash. I'm going to disagree. When women lose to men in a fair competition, they typically complain about being discriminated against. I'm going to disagree strongly. Disagree strongly. Many women get a kick out of teasing men by seeming sexually available and then refusing man advances. I'm going to disagree. Women compared to men tend to have a superior moral sensibility. I'm going to agree. Men should be willing to sacrifice their own well-being in order to provide financially for the women in their lives. Agree. Feminists are making unreasonable demands. I'm going to disagree. I am going to say I'm male this time. I am 18 to 34. Yes. I'm going to cut out my state again. And I have, college 2 years or so. And I'm not going to say how much I make because that shouldn't fucking matter either. Submit. I have no hostile sexism, but I am extremely benevolent in sexism. Holy shit. Holy shit. Okay, we're going to do it one more time. Or actually, we're going to do it a couple more times. I'm going to do the disagree strongly on all of them, and then I'm going to do strongly agree on all of them, and then we'll compare answers. So, that. Disagree. 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 Just hit disagree. We're just gonna fly through these. Oh God. I'm gonna stick with male. Actually, let's prefer not to answer. Just to see. Holy shit. So, oh God. Like, I just want to play with this thing and just keep seeing if I can get answers. Let's do strongly agree now and see what happens. It's gonna scream sexism, isn't it? Prefer not to answer, prefer not to answer, prefer not to answer, and prefer not to answer. Prefer not to answer. What? That is amazing. Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay. So that tells you it's rigged heavily. They're it is heavily rigged. If that's all it takes, especially when it's only like 17 questions and like 10 of them matter. Maybe 11 matter. Maybe. Maybe. This is sad. So I wanted to give my few cents on this because I feel like I watched PBS when I was a kid, and I felt like PBS was one of the greatest shows ever. TV channels. It's basically a TV station channel. Um, and I, God damn it, God damn it, I'm gonna send this to a few of my friends and just see what their responses are. Um, I found it really odd that I actually got higher that time as a 3. But apparently I am so hostilely sexist. So sexist. I'm so sexist because I have vagina and tits. I'm so sexist. Ugh! Anyway, I'm I okay, why am I laughing? I'm laughing because A, the questions are not detailed enough. You assume you as in the quiz assume that the questions that you are asking will provide the proper responses to your very somewhat detailed answers. If you're going to have 6 responses, at least add a 7th one of um or at least instead of agree and disagree, say how commonly it happens. Problem with that is you actually need statistics, which there are none for, so, or at least not that there isn't any, just that there isn't any for this particular quiz and article to go off of. So there isn't any kind of reprimand for it. So it's like, hey, do you agree or disagree? You disagree? You're a sexist. Which a lot of people will call it out and saying it's thought policing. Um, I could say that all Jews should burn in hell, being as a Christian. Does that make me Jewophobic? Would that be the word for it? Jewophobic? Um, not if I treat them with respect still, even if I feel that that's the truth, which it's not the truth, but if I felt it was the truth, um, it's thought policing. I could think that all men are absolute pigs, which, funny enough, my mom used to tell me that all the time when I was little. All men are pigs. She used to tell me that all the time. She didn't do it anymore, but she used to when I was little. But if I still treat men with respect, and if I still do not act on those thoughts, then am I really, in this case, a sexist towards men? Because now it becomes the question of thought policing and the idea of what people think versus their actions. So they're trying to tell you that because you kind of disagree that feminists, that feminists are, you know, that you think that feminists are demanding too much, you're sexist. Which feels really like almost like cultist, almost like you're trying to create a cult out of that. My head hurts right now in my temple, like right here, hurts a lot just explaining this. um I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to uh give this lovely thing a try and see what you guys get. Answer honestly, try the best you can to answer honestly. um Obviously this thing is bullshit. This does not, because it's I think somebody described it as straw man in a couple of these questions. I'm not sure if red herring is any of them. Maybe, I'm not sure. There's a lot of fallacies here. But anyway, that's all I've got, and I saw it in passing a couple days ago, and I didn't think anything of it. But after some people have been posting about it, I was like, okay, I hate to say jump on the bandwagon, but wanted to throw my couple 2 cents here, and wanted to see what everyone's considered, what this test was all about. So anyway, that's all I've got for today. Thank you for listening. If you liked what you heard, like, share, subscribe. This has been Musy, and I guess this is a podcast. I haven't done a podcast in a long time. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the PBS Are You Sexist quiz bullshit. Wow. I'll see you guys later. Hopefully you guys are enjoying my Let's Plays, and we'll see where this goes from here. Goodbye!